All right, let's look a little bit on to dynamics and what you can do with it. I went here to the FX tab, and within the FX tab there's lots of things you can do. Actually, you can make whole oceans like an ocean, or you can create fluids, all kinds of very heavy calculation. You can even create a boat on top of the ocean and see how that does, and it's all calculated for you. You can make cloth, you can make hair, and you can put all kinds of restraints and also fields on top of aspects you create. So many, we cannot even handle it. There's paint effects and so forth. What we'll look at a little bit is on, you can create an emitter. For example, here's an emitter, and the emitter will emit particles, and you can change here the, for example, the rate, how many particles come out, the spread, or maybe randomness of, I don't know, of the speed. So it goes more like this. So you can tweak accordingly. You can change the colors and so forth. You can script into this as well. Not diving into that now. Well, you can also put like fields on this. For example, I can go to fields and solvers. So and then it creates this nucleus, and you can change the air density or the wind direction. So for example, I put it on again. So wind direction, I put it somewhere else. So then it will go to the right more now. I'll put it that way. And air density, you can change that too. Or you can change the gravity towards less, for example. You can change all kinds of things with this. The aspects are changing when I stop, because I was just dragging with my mouse. Well, I love doing this. This was just like, oh my god, I'm playing around with these particles, and they're all doing kinds of other things. And I loved also soft bodies, so let's look at that, for example. So let's say we have this plane, and this plane needs to be a soft body, and so create soft body, oh no, here create soft body, and then the soft body, we also connect that to an effect. So for example, to a field, let's have a turbulence field, for example. Then that body now is shifting with the turbulence field. It's very interesting. So we can change the magnitude, for example, a little bit more up. And yeah, so you can change the face, like it's facing like differently through it. Okay, now it's a bit too much. It's cracking up the whole thing a little bit. But you can imagine you can play around with this, like, wow, you can do so much with this. And yeah, so, and then reacting to the environment. Oh yeah, we can also look at a rigid body, for example. So I would also have then a plane, for example, and a sphere, and we can create this as a passive rigid body, and this one is an active. So let's see, that's in let's see, that's in here in fields and solvers as well. And then create active rigid body. Oh no, this one is passive. And let's delete our, it's in the way. And this one, the sphere, is then an active rigid body. And let's see if we play it now. Oh yeah, it doesn't do anything because we need gravity on this thing. So let's go to fields again and put gravity on it. All right. So now it will fall down and it will collide with the other rigid body. So that's very nice, and you can change how much that is, how much the gravity is pulling. So here you can, this is the magnitude. So you can put it even up like that, boom, you know. Or you can change on the other side also, like, okay, how much mass do I have, right? So maybe I have tons of mass, so it will be like, boom, like a very heavy ball. and you can change the bounciness and the damping and all kinds of things you can change. And it will become ridiculous because I don't want that amount of damping. And maybe the bounciness should also not be as much because it's a very heavy ball, right? So it should not bounce at all. And the friction and so forth. So you can play around with that. Yeah, so it's also, you can have, for example, this is a soft body and this is a rigid body and it falling over it. So like a cloth falling over something. Another student back in the day created bed sheets this way. So it has this cloth falling on this bed, perfectly on this bed. It said, okay, this is it. Baked it, so you can go to edit keys, and say bake simulation. So it will make keyframes of all of the simulation we see, because this simulation is not going to Unity, but the keyframes are. So in that case, this now is a baked keyframe animation. So all the keys are now set, and all the information is transformed from the simulation towards more active keys. So that's very handy. Also back in the day I created particles that were giving a sort of effect of like explosion, or all kind of things you can make from this, or from text, and text is like disappearing or coming from like smoke. Well, you can do that also in After Effects, but this is in 3D. You can put your camera through it, and yeah, I love playing with this. We're playing with fire and so forth. Yeah. So this is very much the basics of it. I encourage you to, well, look through this. There's also goal, that something goes towards a goal. You can have springs that's like things attached to a spring that will like go back and forth. Like it's a bed that's attached to a spring that goes like springs up and down. That an object emits, it's like an emitter. So, or you can have an object that is in every particle. So you have, like, instead of these particles coming out, you have all kinds of, I don't know, balls or cars coming out. You can make objects collide with each other. Well, there's lots of aspects you can do in here. Also within the fluids, but remember, you need a very powerful computer to do fluids, and cloth as well, and hair as well. And yeah, so that's about it. Just a little bit on dynamics, and it's for you to dive in further. It's so fun. So yeah, so I miss that. I don't do that in my job nowadays anymore, but this was really the most fun, actually, the dynamics. All right, good luck with exploring and figuring this stuff more out, and I'll see you in the next part of this lesson.